So I'm going to read today. Crystal's not able to watch, but I decided I'm going to read anyway. Sorry I'm late. I was out getting tires for the car because when I got the alignment, they had to order the tires so we would have the better tires instead of the just little cheap knockoffs that they keep there on hand. You probably couldn't even hear any of that, but now I'm facing the microphone. There's a Cody in there somewhere. The clothes for the high priest. Chapter 28, the Lord said to Moses, "Send your brother Aaron and his sons Nadab, Abihu, Eleazar, and Ithamar. They are the ones I have chosen from Israel to serve as my priests. Make Aaron some beautiful clothes that are worthy of a high priest. Aaron is to be dedicated as my high priest, and his clothes must be made only by persons who possess skills that I have given them. Here are the items that need to be made: a breastpiece, a priestly vest, a robe, an embroidered shirt, a turban, and a sash. These sacred clothes are to be made for your brother Aaron and his sons who will be my priests. Only gold and fine linen, woven with blue, purple, and red wool, are to be used for making these clothes. The vest for the high priest, the Lord said, the entire priestly vest must be made of fine linen skillfully woven with blue, purple, and red wool, and decorated with gold. It is to have 2 shoulder straps to support it and a sash that fastens around the waist. Put 2 onyx stones in gold settings, then attach 1 to each of the shoulder straps. On one of these stones, engrave the names of Israel's first 6 sons in order of their birth, and do the same with his remaining 6 sons on the other stone. In this way, Aaron will always carry the names of the tribes of Israel when he enters the holy place, and I will never forget my people. Attach 2 gold settings to the shoulder straps and fasten them with 2 braided chains of pure gold. The breastpiece of the high priest for the high priest. The Lord said, from the same costly material, make a breastpiece for the high priest to use in learning what I want my people to do. It is to be 9 inches square and folded double, with 4 rows of 3 precious stones. In the first row, put a carnelian, a chrysolite, and an emerald. In the second row, a turquoise, a sapphire, and a diamond. In the third row, a jacinth, an agate, and an amethyst. And in the fourth row, a beryl, an onyx, and a jasper. Mount the stones in delicate gold settings and engrave on each of them the name of one of the 12 tribes of Israel. Attach 2 gold rings to the upper front corners of the breastpiece and fasten them with the 2 braided gold chains to gold settings on the shoulder straps. Attach 2 other gold rings to the lower inside corners next to the vest and 2 more near the bottom of the shoulder straps right above the sash. Then take a blue cord and tie the 2 lower rings on the breastpiece to those on the vest. This will keep the breastpiece in place. In this way, Aaron will have the names of the 12 tribes of Israel written on his heart each time he enters the holy place, and I will never forget my people. He must also wear on this breastpiece the 2 small objects that he uses to receive answers from me. The other high priestly clothes. The Lord said, under his vest, Aaron must wear a robe of blue wool with an opening in the center for his head. Be sure to bind the material around the collar to keep it from raveling. Along the hem of the robe, weave pomegranates of blue, purple, and red wool, with a gold bell between each of them. If Aaron wears these clothes when he enters the holy place as my high priest, the sound of the bells will be heard, and his life will not be in danger. On a narrow strip of pure gold, engrave the words, dedicated to the Lord. Fasten it to the front of Aaron's turban with a blue cord so he can wear it on his forehead. This will show that he will take on himself the guilt for any sins the people of Israel commit in offering their gifts to me, and I will forgive them. Make Aaron's robe and turban of fine linen and decorate his sash with fancy needlework. The clothes for the other priests. Since Aaron's sons are priests, they should also look dignified. So make robes, sashes, and special caps for them. Then dress Aaron and his sons in these clothes, pour olive oil on their heads, and ordain them as my priests. Make linen shorts for them that reach from the waist down to the thigh, so they won't expose themselves. Whenever they enter the sacred tent or serve at the altar or enter the holy place, they must wear these shorts, or else they will be guilty and die. This same rule applies to any of their descendants who serve as priests. Instructions for ordaining priests. The Lord said to Moses, chapter 29, the Lord said to Moses, when you ordain one of Aaron's sons as my priest, choose a young bull and 2 rams that have nothing wrong with them. Then from your finest flour, make 3 batches of dough without yeast. Shape some of it into larger loaves, some into smaller loaves mixed with olive oil, and the rest into thin wafers brushed with oil. Put all of this bread in a basket and bring it when you come to sacrifice the 3 animals to me. Bring Aaron and his sons to the entrance of the sacred tent and have them wash themselves. Dress Aaron in the priestly shirt, the robe that goes under the sacred vest, the vest itself, the breastpiece, and the sash. Put on his turban with its narrow strip of engraved gold, and then ordain him by pouring olive oil on his head. Next, dress Aaron's sons in their special shirts and caps and their sashes, then ordain them, because they and their descendants will always be priests. Lead the bull to the entrance of the sacred tent where Aaron and his sons will lay their hands on its head. Kill the bull near my altar in front of the tent. Use a finger to smear some of its blood on each of the 4 corners of the altar and pour out the rest of the blood on the ground next to the altar. Then take the fat from the animal's insides as well as the lower part of the liver and the 2 kidneys with their fat and send them up in smoke on the altar. But the meat, the skin, and the food still in the bull's stomach must be burned outside the camp as an offering to ask forgiveness for the sins of the priests. Bring one of the rams to Aaron and his sons and have them lay their hands on its head. Kill the ram and splatter its blood against all 4 sides of the altar. Cut up the ram, wash its insides and legs, and lay all of its parts on the altar, including the head. Then make sure that the whole animal goes up in smoke with a smell that pleases me. Bring the other ram to Aaron and his sons and have them lay their hands on its head. Kill the ram and place some of its blood on Aaron's right earlobe, his right thumb, and the toe of his right foot. Do the same for each of his sons and splatter the rest of the blood against the 4 sides of the altar. Then take some of the blood from the altar, mix it with the oil used for ordination, and sprinkle it on Aaron and his clothes, and also on his sons and their clothes. This will show that they and their clothes have been dedicated to me. This ram is part of the ordination service, so remove its right hind leg, its fat tail, the fat on its insides, as well as the lower part of the liver, and take the 2 kidneys with their fat. Take 1 loaf of each kind of bread from the basket and put this bread together with the meat into the hands of Aaron and his sons. Then they will lift it up to show that it is dedicated to me. After this, the meat and bread are to be placed on the altar and sent up in smoke with a smell that pleases me. You may eat the choice ribs from this select ram, but you must first lift them up to show that this meat is dedicated to me. In the future, when anyone from Israel offers the ribs and a hind leg of a ram, either to ordain a priest or to ask for my blessing, the meat belongs to me, but it may be eaten by the priests. This law will never change. After Aaron's death, his priestly clothes are to be handed down to each descendant who succeeds him as high priest. And these clothes must be worn during the 7-day ceremony of ordination. Boil the meat of the ordination ram in a sacred place. Then have Aaron and his sons eat it together with the 3 kinds of bread at the entrance to the sacred tent. At their ordination, a ceremony of forgiveness was performed for them with this sacred food, and only they have the right to eat it. If any of the sacred food is left until the morning, it must be burned up. Repeat this ordination ceremony for Aaron and his sons 7 days in a row, just as I have instructed you. Each day you must offer a bull as a sacrifice for sin and as a way of purifying the altar. In addition, you must smear the altar with olive oil and make it completely holy. Do this for 7 days, and the altar will become so holy that anyone who touches it will become holy. Daily sacrifices. The Lord said, each day you must sacrifice 2 lambs a year old, 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening. With each lamb, offer 2 pounds of your finest flour mixed with a quart of pure olive oil, and also pour out a quart of wine as an offering. The smell of this sacrifice on the fires of the altar will be pleasing to me. You and your descendants must always offer the sacrifice on the altar at the entrance of the sacred tent. People of Israel, I will meet you, speak with you there, and my shining glory will make the place holy. Because of who I am, the tent will become sacred, and Aaron and his sons will become worthy to serve as my priests. I will live among you as your God, and you will know that I am the Lord your God, the one who rescued you from Egypt so that I could live among you. The altar for burning incense, chapter 30. The Lord said to Moses, build an altar of acacia wood where you can burn incense. Make it 18 inches square and 36 inches high, and make each of its four corners stick up like the horn of a bull. Cover it with pure gold and put a gold edging around it. Then, below the edging on opposite sides, attach 2 gold rings through which you can put the poles for carrying the altar. These poles are also to be made of acacia wood covered with gold. Put the altar in front of the inside curtain of the sacred tent. The chest with the place of mercy is kept behind that curtain, and I will talk with you there. From now on, when Aaron tends the lamp each morning and evening, he must burn sweet-smelling incense to me on the altar. Burn only the proper incense on the altar, and never use it for grain sacrifices or animal sacrifices or drink offerings. Once a year, Aaron must purify the altar by smearing on its four corners the blood of an animal sacrificed for sin, and this practice must always be followed. The altar is sacred because it is dedicated to me. The money for the sacred tent. The Lord said to Moses, find out how many grown men there are in Israel and require each of them to pay me to keep him safe from danger while you are counting them. Each man over 19, whether rich or poor, must pay the same amount of money, weighed according to the official standards. This money is to be used for the upkeep of the sacred tent, and because of it, I will never forget my people. The large bronze bowl. The Lord said to Moses, make a large bronze bowl and a bronze stand for it. Then put them between the altar for sacrifice and the sacred tent, so the priests can wash their hands and feet before entering the tent or offering a sacrifice on the altar. Each priest in every generation must wash himself in this way, or else he will die right there. The oil for dedication and ordination. The Lord said to Moses, mix a gallon of olive oil with the following costly spices: 12 pounds of myrrh, 6 pounds of cinnamon, 6 pounds of cane, and 12 pounds of cassia. Measure these according to the official standards. Then use this sacred mixture for dedicating the tent and the chest, the table with its equipment, the lampstand with its equipment, the incense altar with its utensils, the altar for sacrifices, and the large bowl with its stand. By dedicating them in this way, you will make them so holy that anyone who even touches them will become holy. When you ordain Aaron and his sons as my priests, sprinkle them with some of this oil, and say to the people of Israel, this oil must always be used in the ordination service of a priest. It is holy because it is dedicated to the Lord. So treat it as holy. Don't ever use it for everyday purposes or mix any for yourselves. If you do, you will no longer belong to the Lord's people. The sweet-smelling incense. Mix equal amounts of the costly spices stocked on onycha, galbanum, and pure frankincense. Then add salt to make the mixture pure and holy. Pound some of it into powder and sprinkle it in front of the sacred chest where I meet you. Be sure to treat this incense as something very holy. It is truly holy because it is dedicated to me. So don't ever make any for yourselves. If you ever make any of it to use as perfume, you will no longer belong to my people. The Lord chooses Bezalel and Oholiab. The Lord, chapter 31, the Lord said to Moses, I have chosen Bezalel from the Judah tribe to make the sacred tent and its furnishings. Not only have I filled him with my spirit, but I have given him wisdom and made him a skilled craftsman who can create objects of art with gold, silver, bronze, stone, and wood. I have appointed Oholiab from the tribe of Dan to work with him, and I have also given skills to those who will help them make everything exactly as I have commanded you. The sacred tent with its furnishings, the sacred chest with its place of mercy, the table with all that is on it, the lamp with its equipment, the incense altar, the altar for sacrifices with its equipment, the bronze bowl with its stand, the beautiful priestly clothes for Aaron and his sons, the oil for dedication and ordination services, and the sweet-smelling incense for the holy place. Laws for the Sabbath. Moses told the Israelites that the Lord had said, "The Sabbath belongs to me. Now I command you and your descendants to always obey the laws of the Sabbath. By doing this, you will know that I have chosen you as my own. Keep the Sabbath holy. You have 6 days to do your work, but the Sabbath is mine, and it must remain a day of rest. If you work on the Sabbath, you will no longer be part of my people, and you will be put to death. Every generation of Israelites must respect the Sabbath. This day will always serve as a reminder, both to me and to the Israelites, that I made the heavens and the earth in 6 days. Then on the 7th day I rested and relaxed." When God had finished speaking to Moses on Mount Sinai, he gave him 2 flat stones on which he had written all of the laws with his own hand. The people make an idol to worship. 32. After the people saw Moses had been on the mountain for a long time, they went to Aaron and said, "Make us an image of God who will lead and protect us. Moses brought us out of Egypt, but nobody knows what has happened to him." Aaron told them, "Bring me the gold earrings that your wives and sons and daughters are wearing." Everybody took off their earrings and brought them to Aaron. Then he melted them and made an idol in the shape of a young bull. All the people said to one another, "This is the God who brought us out of Egypt." When Aaron saw what was happening, he built an altar in front of the idol and said, "Tomorrow we will celebrate in honor of the Lord." The people got up early the next morning and killed some animals to be used for sacrifices and others to be eaten. Then everyone ate and drank so much that they began to carry on like wild people. The Lord said to Moses, "Hurry back down. These people you led out of Egypt are acting like fools. They have already stopped obeying me and have made themselves an idol in the shape of a young bull. They have bowed down to it, offered sacrifices, and said that it is the God who brought them out of Egypt. Moses, I have seen how stubborn these people are, and I am angry enough to destroy them, so don't try to stop me. But I will make your descendants into a great nation." Moses tried to get the Lord to change his mind. "Our Lord, you used your mighty power to bring these people out of Egypt. Now don't become angry and destroy them. If you do, the Egyptians will say that you brought your people out here into the mountains just to get rid of them. Please don't be angry with your people. Don't destroy them. Remember the solemn promise you made to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You promised that someday they would have as many descendants as our stars in the sky, and that you would give them land." So even though the Lord had threatened to destroy the people, he changed his mind and let them live. Moses went back down the mountain, and with 2 flat stones on which God had written all of his laws with his own hand, and he had used both sides of the stone. When Joshua heard the noisy shouts of the people, he said to Moses, "A battle must be going on down in the camp." But Moses replied, "It doesn't sound like they are shouting because they have won or lost a battle. They are singing wildly." As Moses got closer to the camp, he saw the idol, and he also saw the people dancing around. This made him so angry that he threw down the stones and broke them to pieces at the foot of the mountain. He melted the idol the people had made, and he ground it into powder. He scattered it in their water and made them drink it. Moses asked Aaron, "What did these people do to harm you? Why did you make them sin in this terrible way?" Aaron answered, "Don't be angry with me. You know as well as I do that they are determined to do evil. They even told me, the man Moses led us out of Egypt, but now we don't know what has happened to him. Make us a god to lead us." Then I asked them to bring me their gold earrings. They took them off and gave them to me. I threw the gold into a fire, and out came this bull. Moses knew that the people were out of control and that it was Aaron's fault, and now they had made fools of themselves in front of their enemies. So Moses stood at the gate of the camp and shouted, "Everybody who is on the Lord's side, come over here." Then the men of the Levi tribe gathered around Moses, and he said to them, The Lord God of Israel commands you to strap on your swords and go through the camp, killing your relatives, your friends, and your neighbors." There you go. The men of the Levi tribe followed his orders, and that day they killed about 3,000 men. Moses said to them, "You obeyed the Lord and did what was right. and so you will serve as his priest for the people of Israel. It was hard for you to kill your own sons and brothers, but the Lord has blessed you and made you his priests today." The next day, Moses told the people, "This is a terrible thing you have done, but I will go back to the Lord to see if I can do something to keep this sin from being held against you." Moses returned to the Lord and said, "The people have committed a terrible sin. They have made a gold idol to be their God, but I beg you to forgive them. If you don't, please wipe my name out of your book." The Lord replied, "I will wipe out of my book the name of everyone who has sinned against me. Now, take my people to the place I told you about, and my angel will lead you. But when the time comes, I will punish them for this sin." So the Lord punished the people of Israel with a terrible disease for talking Aaron into making the gold idol. The Lord tells Israel to leave Mount Sinai. 33. The Lord said to Moses, "You led the people of Israel out of Egypt. Now get ready to lead them to the land I promised their ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. It is a land rich with milk and honey, and I will send an angel to force out those people who live there, the Canaanites, the Amorites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites. I would go with my people, but they are too rebellious that I would destroy them before they got there." Even before the Lord said these harsh things, he had told Moses, "These people really are rebellious, and I would kill them at once if I went with them. But tell them to take off their fancy jewelry, then I'll decide what to do with them." So the people started mourning, and after leaving Mount Sinai, they stopped wearing fancy jewelry. The Lord is with his people. Moses used to set up a tent far from camp. He called it the meeting tent, and whoever needed some message from the Lord would go there. Each time Moses went out to the tent, everyone would stand at the entrance to their own tents and watch him enter. Then they would bow down because a thick cloud would come down in front of the tent, and the Lord would speak to Moses face to face, just like a friend. Afterwards, Moses would return to camp, but his young assistant Joshua would stay at the tent. The Lord promises to be with his people. Moses said to the Lord, "I know that you have told me to lead these people to the land you promised them, but you have not told me who my assistant will be. You have said that you are my friend, and that you are pleased with me. If this is true, please let me know what your plans are. Then I can obey and continue to please you. And don't forget that you have chosen this nation to be your own." The Lord said, "I will go with you and give you peace." Then Moses replied, "If you aren't going with us, please don't make us leave this place. But if you do go with us, everyone will know that you are pleased with your people and with me. That way, we will be different from the rest of the people on earth." So the Lord told him, "I will do what you have asked because I am your friend, and I am pleased with you." Then Moses said, "I pray that you will let me see you in all of your glory." The Lord answered, "All right, I am the Lord, and I show mercy and kindness to anyone I choose. I will let you see my glory and hear my holy name, but I won't let you see my face, because anyone who sees my face will die. There is a rock not far from me. Stand beside it, and before I pass by in all of my shining glory, I will put you in a large crack in the rock. I will cover your eyes with my hand until I have passed by. Then I will take my hand away, and you will see my back. You will not see my face." Oh, my throat's messing up today. I'm sorry.